and welcome to another episode of Get to Know My Network. And today's guest, well, I find myself extremely fascinated by people who are quiet and unassuming. They just come in, get the job done, don't ask too many questions. And today's guest is exactly like that. I met him a few years back. I didn't know what exactly he did, but then in the recent couple of months, I set up a meeting with him randomly and asked him what it was he was up to. And sometimes it just takes that little bit of effort from everybody. Go out there and ask somebody what it is that they're doing. Because when I did, we actually found out that we would work perfectly together. We could help each other out. That's what networking is about. So let's hear today from Brent Peters how we ended up networking. Firstly, Brent, thank you so much for being a part of this from both angles, which we'll explain now. And then secondly, thank you for doing the matching thing. It
wasn't planned.
No guys, it wasn't planned, but thank you. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into it. Tell everybody what it is that you do.
So what I do is I'm in the graphics industry, or what is known as the design industry or the creative industry. I'm a graphic designer by trade. And yeah, I pretty much do a lot of visual work and a lot of rendering for things that are required within the creative industry. So my core focus at the moment is branding and marketing. So I render a lot of graphics and a lot of visuals that a branding or a marketing campaign may need. And yeah, right now I just started a new graphic design job, which I'm really grateful for. After about, I would say, 5 to 6 years of running my own marketing and branding company. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do.
So when did your creative journey start?
My creative journey started, I would say, typically as a child. In my childhood years, I found, or I realized, sort of a very unique talent for all things creative. And as we all know, we start drawing at some point within our childhood years. And I just realized that I have a little bit just more of a better technique than most other kids. I started drawing things that I see. I started observing and I started sort of expressing myself creatively through drawing. And that's when I realized that graphics or arts in general is where I really wanted to go. Through my high school years, of course, I was in the art class. And that was really a fun time for me because I could really then start sort of exploring more and start finding things that are more sort of relevant to what I want to do with my creativity. Later on, I then decided let's take what I've sort of experienced in my childhood years and see if I can actually build a career from it. And that's when I decided to study graphic design. I did that for about 3 years. It was a national certificate, and that's when I found a love for branding and marketing in general. And then just sort of applying what it is that I do technically, but applying it in a more strategic sense when it comes to marketing campaigns and building brands with companies, startups, with entrepreneurs. And then later towards wanting to find a job, which was a bit of a struggle, I must say. I then met a very good friend of mine, still a very good friend of mine today, and we started a marketing and branding company. It was called Neon Grey, and we ran that for about five to 6 years. And we dabbled in a lot of print work, a lot of online campaigning, social media campaigning, and a bit of web development and photography, and a bit of videography as well. And that's when I could really sort of on the ground explore certain things that I found were more interesting to me when it came to the general creative industry as we know it. And then of course in late 2016 we then decided let's work on our personal careers and kind of leave what it is that we've sort of experienced and that we've learned, and let's try and find things that sort of make us happy, because I'm sure at any point in sort of anybody's life you kind of get to the stage where you ask yourself the question, is this really what I want to do? And that's the question that I asked myself. And we mutually then sort of agreed to close up shop in late 2016, and I started freelancing. I still worked on, you know, graphic type stuff, a few web development stuff here and there. I took on photography jobs, videography jobs, just exploring and kind of spreading out the creativity, not in the sense of just sitting behind a PC or, you know, Mac and just sort of pushing out design work on a constant basis. And that's when I found that I need to sort of apply myself in each and every aspect of the creative process. And that's where I find myself today. I work for a inbound marketing company based in the UK, and we pretty much deal with a lot of campaigning and strategic sort of development for businesses when it comes to their brand, when it comes to their business itself, the services that they offer, the products that they offer, and sort of asking yourself, you want a piece of work or you want a piece of creative work, but what is the end goal? Do we want more customers? Do we want more viewers on a video? Do we want more visitors on your website? So that's the kind of work that I find myself in today, where I can still create it and I can still design and I can still draw and sort of develop things, but sort of in a very strategic sense, where what it is that I do, there's a means to an end behind it. And I sort of apply that to my life as well, where you kind of need to start thinking strategically about the things that you are going to be doing in the next few years, or the next steps that you need to take. So I must say, in terms of the journey as a whole, it's been a crazy one, definitely. But where I am today, it's definitely not what I expected, but I'm truly blessed for where it is that I am, and grateful for the people that I've networked with and met and sort of grown with, you know, working from project to project, working from, you know, client to client. And yeah, so in general, I would say my journey has been a fun one, but it's still a very long one to sort of work through and kind of go through.
Okay, so you mentioned networking, and basically this is how we network and we got to this point.
Yeah.
Explain a bit about your takeaway from being involved with Get to Know My Network and Candy Coated.
It's a crazy one because, and I mentioned this to you before, that of course I volunteered to come on board as an editor for these videos, and I wouldn't say I wasn't ready, but I didn't expect that I would take so much out of simply just editing each little episode that we kind of do and push out. And listening to each guest and each person that you interview and your network, I literally feel like I'm taking, or that I'm networking with these people as well. Whether it be a little piece of advice that they give, or whether it's just simply experiences that they've been through, and they simply share that through the videos. And while editing, I literally have to sit and listen to what answers they put forward, and I take so much out of it, being a young person, and hearing all these experiences and these stories. I can literally then, you know, take that piece of advice and apply it to my own, whether it be personally, whether it be in my career, and just life in general, you know. So I would definitely say it's sort of crazy because I'm networking while working on a networking project. So,
that's a perfect way to put it.
So yeah, definitely a crazy one.
Okay, so you also mentioned, yes, you are young, but what advice would you give to even younger creatives about maybe the challenges that are in your industry?
Wow. The challenge in the industry would definitely be that it's very competitive. Everybody's trying to get a piece of that pie, basically. Whether it be financially, whether it be working on one of the biggest projects, or the next big thing, or the next best thing, basically. So I would definitely say the creative industry is a very competitive industry. And these days, any sort of person can pick up the skills to create or to design, or to come up with a very creative idea, but the difference is you need to find something that's innovative, or you need to come up with something that's a bit more sort of new or different than the next one. So I would definitely say competition is a big thing, and access, I would definitely say, is the next one. And when I speak about access, I mean access to resources, and to literally growing yourself as a creative within the industry. And there's quite a large lack of that within SA and specifically Cape Town, because coming from a previously disadvantaged background and from the Cape Flats, you kind of see these things and you kind of see each person struggle, and that struggle is as simple as getting to a job interview or getting to a place that's going to provide you that access, to sort of take the next step within your journey. So definitely access is one of them. I would say the last challenge for me would be sort of building a sort of a formidable career within the creative industry. I'm sure a lot of people have heard, and I'm sure you have heard a lot of stories of creatives being creative, but they're not really making a living and they're not really surviving with that craft and with that art. And that's a balance one needs to find when it comes to the sort of the creative space. Is you want to be creative, you want to express the things that you want to express, but at the end of the day, is it going to make you money? Is it going to sort of allow you to survive from sort of a day-to-day basis? Is it going to bring in the bread and the butter? So I would definitely say actually finding something that is going to build a career that personally sort of uplifts you and sort of motivates you to sort of continue. And I think that's when people sort of get a bit demotivated and a bit sort of on the downside. But for me, I would definitely say persistence is key in this industry. Which could probably lead to my next bit of advice is there is no time to success. There is no step-by-step guide to success. You kind of just got to stick your head in it and keep it there, and just be very persistent about the things that you want, and sort of be very persistent about the things that you want to achieve. Yes. And I think that's where I found myself in the last few months and the past year, is that I really applied this persistent attitude and this persistent nature to just get and to sort of obtain the things that I really want for myself. And that's where I am right now. So to any young person out there, to any young creative, to any entrepreneur that's listening to this episode, please be persistent in what you do. Don't give up. Continue to be true to yourself, because for me that's definitely one thing that I've learned is don't try and be something that you're not. So be yourself, be persistent, and just give it a go. If you're not doing it, you're not doing it. So, or as in graphic design terms, as they would say, if everything is bold, everything is bold. So try and be dynamic, try and be unique, try and be different, and try and be yourself.
Brent, plans for the upcoming year?
My plans for the upcoming year, wow, it's kind of twofold, because it's a bit of personal stuff and there's also work stuff that I want to sort of get involved in, and it would definitely be working on more projects like these, where you are sharing your experiences, you are sharing your sort of life lessons, and you are continuing sort of networking with people. And then on a more personal note, I would love to travel. It's something that I have within the next year that I want to do. I'll go visit some family in Australia and go visit the guys in the UK. So meet the directors of the company and kind of see what goes down when it comes to the nitty-gritty of the business and the company. So traveling, top of the list, and just continuing what it is that I do and try to motivate as much young people as possible that are sort of experiencing some of the things to what I did through my sort of younger sort of self. So just continuing my support and my motivation through my creative work and my sort of creative career.
At this part of the interview, we find out what our inspirationals do for fun. So what do you do to let your hair down?
Yeah, it's a broad one, but it's probably something that a lot of people don't know, but I run a little mobile sort of hair cutting service. And it started in my high school days, where I often used to just dabble in, like, you know, sorting out the friends with some fresh haircuts for the weekend. And then later this year, or sort of earlier this year, I decided let's turn it into something that I can actually do on a constant basis, because I find myself expressing myself through cutting people's hair, which is weird. It's sort of a meditative sort of state that I go into, and yeah, so that's what I kind of do on the side, which is really fun, and it keeps the friends happy. So yeah, so I cut hair for fun, but amongst other stuff, I love getting out. I love hiking. I love, you know, cooking, because I need to cook every night, because it's just as myself and the granddad that stays in the house. So yeah, it's sort of a bit of everything, I would say. Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I'm meeting a lot of guys that like to cook. But yes, okay, so I'm going to join you in cutting someone's hair.
Yeah, I can show you a bit around.
This is going to be interesting. Good luck to the guinea pig. What did I learn from Brent Peters? Well, besides the fact that he's extremely humble, easy to work with, and he made magic with my videos, is that he changed his life path. And I believe that there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. He went from doing things on his own to working for a corporate company. And that is his life story. That's his own story. And I think more of us should do that. Do your thing that finds your own life story, that makes your own life story. And obviously get the right guidance. Don't just go it alone. And but be open to new things, new possibilities, and new avenues. And you'll probably find that you will grow to places that you never thought you would grow to before, and you'd meet people that you never thought you would meet in your normal path. So yes, go and make your own life story.